Tonight, it's a tale of two. One old and one new. Champion and challenger. East Coast and West Coast. New York and California. Last night in the California twilight, two very different worlds collided with great intensity, and the result was electric. The Rocket was in control until the fifth, when the upstart A's got into their swing.
Swung on and given out to right field. On the run, it's overhand and up against the wall. Chavez scores.
These Oakland A's are young and very bashful, but their brand of bash comes with surprising nerves of steel. Now, as the 20th century has changed the 21st century, we must wonder, has this current Yankee run come to an end? But the heart of a champion must never, ever be underestimated. It's the New York Yankees and baseball's newest bombers, the Swingin' A's. Playoff baseball is next on the one and only Fox Sports. The AutoTrader.com pregame show is brought to you by AutoTrader.com, the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
The last team to win 3 straight World Series played here. The team that hopes to be the next to win 3 straight must, in short, win here tonight, because last night, for the first time since the '96 World Series, Derek Jeter's Yankees lost the opening game of a postseason round to the Oakland A's. From the home of the next 7 World Series, it's Game 2 of the American League Division Series and the AutoTrader.com pregame show with Joe Buck and Tim McCarver standing by in Oakland, and alongside Steve Lyons, I'm Keith Olbermann. And even as they have won consecutive World Series, the Yankees have not been perfect. But there was something unprecedented last night. A's down 2-zip, 2 on in the fifth. Ramon Hernandez up, and the Yankees did not know that Oakland never sacrificed bunts in that situation. These are the Yankees, the team with the best scouting in baseball, and this was the kind of info you could read in the Contra Costa Times. Tonight, Steve, possibly as a result, wholesale changes by New York.
Yeah, 6 different guys will hit in an order in a different spot than they were the night before. Chuck Knobloch out of the order. Derek Jeter hits in the leadoff spot. I love him there. And the main reason why Torrey can do this is because he can, and it's not unprecedented for him. He's done it in the past. He sat down Tino Martinez in the '96 World Series. He put Charlie Hayes at third base instead of Boggs. He even played Shane Spencer, a guy that we didn't know that much about. But it's ironic for me that when Chuck Knobloch was having his throwing problems earlier in the year, to a man, the Yankees said, we will go as far into the playoffs and into the World Series as Chuck Knobloch will take us. He's sitting on the bench right now.
And they may have known more, been saying more than they knew. Baseball news today, the L.A. Times reporting the Dodgers have fired manager Davey Johnson, told him a week ago. Candidates to succeed Johnson include Dusty Baker, Jeff Torborg, Eddie Murray, Kevin Kennedy, and in an indication of some confusion in the organization, Davey Johnson. If the White Sox are a little confused, forgive them. Sports Illustrated reports that first baseman Paul Konerko, one of Chicago's top 25 bachelors, went on a charity dating game. His selection, bachelorette number 2, turned out to be White Sox pitcher Jim Parquet in a wig. Nothing charitable about the Mariners in Game 2 of the Division Series at Comiskey. Jay Buhner, who does not wear a wig.
Veteran leadership right there. Time for the White Sox to take their wigs off, I think.
Kazuhiro Sasaki did it for them. Baines, Johnson, and Durham in the ninth could be it for the White Sox.
Could be. You know, good pitching beats good hitting.
Unless you don't get the calls, as Mike Hampton thought he did not against Bonds. He thought the third inning was over. So on the next pitch, everything unravels. Down the line, and down goes Derek Bell. He is out of Game 2 with a sprained ankle, and the inning continues with a Bonds triple, 2-1. The Mets out there in the dugout. Instead, Ellis Burks is up.
If you're looking for an MVP on that team, if Burks had more at-bats, he would probably hit, not Kent or Bonds.
5-1. Mets do bring the tying run to the plate, but instead of Derek Bell, it's Darrell Hamilton. It's over. So the Mets, having lost that one, the opener, in the same situation as the Yankees?
Exactly the same situation. There's a sense of urgency there, but it is not a must-win situation for either team, because a must-win is when you lose and go home. These guys want to go back home to New York. Both teams with a split in this series. The Yankees have a chance to do it tonight.
All right, and back to tonight's game. The Yankees have already lost as many games in the postseason as they did a year ago. In 1998, they lost just twice. As of this moment, they have an 8-game losing streak, and either the ride is already over or it's fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a series of bumpy nights. If the 2000 Yankees were a car, they'd be the one Aykroyd and Belushi drove in the Blues Brothers. It could get you the whole way, but the moment you're there, complete and utter collapse. Those middle relievers whose fenders did not fall off instead blew up. The starters weren't much better. Dennis Nagel or Dennis Rasmussen? David Cohn or Beldar Conehead? Tino Martinez never got started at first. We all know about second. Here's Mom's weekly 10 seconds of fame. Hi, Mom. Jeter batted .340, but dropped in every important hitting category. And Scott Brosius lost 17 points from his batting average last year, 70 from the year before that. There were no complaints about David Justice. And after a fourth straight 100 RBI season, how could you blame Paul O'Neill for turning 37? Yet though his power numbers went up slightly, Bernie Williams got hurt and saw his average drop 35 points. Only behind the plate was there significant improvement by the incumbent, the blossoming of Jorge Posada. Even that came at a cost. The departure of leader Joe Girardi, who would have been the one speaking up at the team meeting during this season-ending losing streak. Not Jeter, who by his own admission didn't have a lot to say. The history book says this team could be the 1983 Phillies all over again. They blew up the favorite Dodgers in the playoffs, 3 out of 4. Gary Matthews homering 3 times, driving in 8 runs. Then they beat the favorite Orioles in Game 1 of the series at Baltimore, 2-1, on homers by Joe Morgan and Gary Maddox. And then they scored 7 more runs all series. Matthews, Morgan, Tony Perez, Pete Rose, and Mike Schmidt hit 173 the rest of the way. To his astonishment, Rose was benched in Game 3 and stuck out in right field in Game 5. The Phils lost it in 5 on Sunday the 16th. They released Rose on the 19th, Morgan on the 31st. They traded Perez to the Reds in December and Matthews to the Cubs the next March. One day you're leading the World Series 1-0. The next, you're a throw-in the Porfirio Altamirano trade. Still with the Yankees' guts, their experience, their stars, their spare parts, and a good old spit and friction tape, you could win a World Series with this club. Just don't try taking it out on the highway next year. But right now, the disorientation is palpable. A New York newspaper yesterday described the Yankees as scared, and the Yanks promptly felt the need to issue a news release insisting they're not scared.
No, they're not scared, and the team they're playing, the Oakland A's, is not scared either because they weren't even supposed to be here. They're supposed to be watching this broadcast from their home on a couch, not in a playoff locker room. Let's find out who these guys are. When you watch the A's of today, you can't help but be reminded of the swinging A's in the early 70s. Young, mainly homegrown, talented, and full of personality.
We're so young, and you know, we're new at all this kind of stuff. I guess we don't know to be nervous. We don't know to, but to be a little intimidated by some of these teams and these situations. I think the thing that best suits us, ignorance is bliss. Yeah, exactly. There's not a lot of college diplomas running around here because they're not old enough to go to college anyway. We got great team chemistry. I guess the best word I've heard is relentless. That's what this club is, relentless.
Giambi's been the one who's been relentless at the plate all season long, and he should be a shoo-in for the American League MVP after leading the A's through a torrid stretch in September.
We're dead last and not even in the area code without him, I'll tell you. He just had a tremendous season. I've never seen a guy, all season long come up with as many big hits as he did for us.
And nobody's pitching's been better in September. The staff is a mixture of experience and youth, throwing beyond its years, led by 25-year-old Tim Hudson, who in just his first full season is proving to be one of baseball's top aces.
I love to compete. I love the competition. I love playing against the best. I never would have dreamed that in my first full year in the big leagues I would have accomplished what I've done. But, it's just been a magical year for me.
It's also been a magical job performed by manager Art Howe, who's had the Midas touch with this club. Is there a better manager for this team than Art Howe?
No, he fits us perfect.
Actually, I've just kind of let them play. Just let them go out and let them do what comes naturally, basically, and it's kind of worked.
He's really let us develop into the players that we are, and kind of really let us police the team. And every now and then he'll yell at us. If he had some hair, he'd probably pull it out a few times this year. We just have a ball out here. We make up for maybe not the high salary, but we get along so well that it really doesn't matter who gets the big hit or who's on the mound. We're all rooting for each other, which is sometimes rare at this level.
The best baseball term to describe this team: no brain, no headache. They love it that way, and there's not a team in baseball right now that wants to be playing the Oakland A's.
And thanks for using the polite version of that expression.
Any way I can help.
All right, that's it for us for now. For Steve Lyons, I'm Keith Olbermann. We'll see you after the game. Andy Pettitte being asked to again do what he did 10 times this year alone, win immediately after a Yankee loss. Kevin Apier making his postseason debut after 12 years of waiting. After this quick break, Joe and Tim will take you out to the ballgame. The Oakland A's have been baseball
baseball season-long frat party, and the party now is raging deep into autumn. Don't analyze the reasons, just join the fun. Throw on your toga, and if you want, feel the groove. Andy Pettit will tell you these A's are way up past their curfew. He and the Yankees must put an end to this frivolity right here, right now. And right now, we welcome you to Oakland, California, on the other side of the bay. After the Giants won Game 1 of their series with the Mets, it's Game 2 of this series between the A's and the Yankees. Welcome to the booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck, along with my partner, Tim McCarver. Well, the guys in the pregame show tried to introduce the country to these young upstart A's, and everybody talks about the lack of experience in the part of Oakland. They'll ball all that up and throw it right out into the bay because it did not bother them at all in Game 1 last night.
Yeah, that's because for the most part, both teams are equal as far as the field is concerned. However, as far as postseason play is concerned, there is a world of difference. Look at the difference between the Yankees postseason games, 631 to only 9 by the Athletics. 47 World Series rings have the Yankees won. None have been won by the Athletics, and everybody knows the Yankees with the highest payroll in baseball.
Keith and Steve talked about the number of changes Joe Torre made for Game 2. Obviously, a sense of urgency, down 1-0 going into this one. What do you think these changes will do for the Yankees tonight?
I think two things. Derek Jeter's leading off. If Derek Jeter can get on, Jorge Posado's going to see a lot more fastballs, and he's a good fastball hitter. Plus, moving Paul O'Neill out of that 3-hole and into the 6th spot is going to relax him. At least that's what Joe Torre hopes.
That's 3 things.
It was Jeter, Posada, O'Neill. You're right.
Get your own program and get ready. It's Game 2 of the division series between the Yankees and A's. Coming your way next on Fox.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. By MasterCard. MasterCard, proud sponsor of Major League Baseball and fan of the great American pastime. By Office Max. You supply the ambition, we'll supply everything else. And by Energizer E-Squared, the battery with a heart of titanium.
Well, this is the place to be on Wednesday, October 4th. Network Associates Coliseum. That just rolls off the tip of your tongue, doesn't it? Sure. But we're in Oakland, and this place is alive and well. Thank you very much. These A's who have struggled with their attendance all season long, including the last week of the regular season, where they had crowds of 11,000, 12,000 in the pennant drive stretch. Well, they're packed in now and ready for the A's who take the field and take on the Yankees in Game 2 of this division series, led there by Jason Giambi, and tonight led on the mound by the veteran who's never appeared in the postseason, Kevin Appier. Take a look at the starting lineup. The New York Yankees, brought to you by Autotrader.com. They lead it off with Derek Jeter, who had a 17-game postseason hitting streak snapped last night. He's followed by Jorge Posada batting second, David Justice hitting third and left, Bernie Williams cleaning up, then Tino Martinez at first. Paul O'Neill is in right, and he has really struggled. You see the numbers since September 12th. He's had no extra base hits. You see the average. He's had no extra base hits since the 6th of September. So he's going through a rough stretch. Bad time for that. Glenn Allen Hill's the DH, Luis Sojo at second, and Scott Brocious is batting ninth at third base. The defense for the Oakland Athletics. Some names that across the country you're not too familiar with, but this is a very good, very young club. Defensively, as a group, they committed 134 errors, and we highlight Miguel Tejada, who is and should be on that list of the fantastic shortstops in the American League. Only 24 years old. And there's Kevin Appier, the right-hander. This guy's 32 years old. He's been around for a long time, mainly with the Kansas City Royals, and here he is, towing the slab for the first time ever in the postseason.
And if Kevin is right tonight, the infield, we talked about the defensive infield, they should be busy. He needs more than just stuff now. He had an arm operation a couple of years ago, and as anyone knows who's had one of those, it takes some time to recuperate. He's back to throwing better, but not what he was before 1998. Two types of fastball, a two-seamer in a ground ball situation, and a four-seamer. If he gets ahead, he can strike Yankee hitters out with that pitch. A good curveball, and a good split-finger fastball. A tenacious competitor is Apier.
Yet, with all that being said, I would imagine the Yankees have to look at tonight as not only a must-win situation, because they would have to go back to New York and take on the A's two best starters in Tim Hudson and Barry Zito, but a game that they probably should win. Coming in with his pitching matchup, Pettit matches up very well against Oakland, and you would have to think that these Yankees, if they're going to pound on one of these starters for the A's, it would be Kevin Apier. The broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. We're glad you're with us. Who would have thought when the season commenced, the last couple of days of March leading into April, that the postseason spotlight would fall on Oakland, California. Yet here they are, a team filled with young players, a lineup filled with players 25 years of age and younger. And you have to wonder if we're looking at the Atlanta Braves of 1991, because this Oakland team should be good for many years to come.
They don't have the pitching that the Atlanta Braves had back in the early 90s, but they certainly have a better young lineup than Atlanta had in those days.
So here's Derek Jeter taking on Apier with Posada and Justice to follow. And the start of game 2 begins with a strike. Jeter never did go hitless in the postseason last year, 12 games. He was 0 for 3 last night, and as I mentioned, he snapped that 17-game hitting streak that he had going in the postseason. You can see the center fielder, Terrence Long, shielding his eyes from the sun, and that is without a doubt a factor for these fielders and for these hitters with a hitter's background here in the early innings.
Particularly with a guy like Derek Jeter, who hits a lot of balls to right center field.
That's foul into right, and that's strike 2 on Jeter. The Yankees used to having their way in the division series, at least lately, but bad news for them. The Texas Rangers are home watching this game. They've been 3 and out the last 2 years, but Joe Torre and the Yankees have their hands full with these Oakland A's. 1-2. Do it again. When you have Derek Jeter leading off, and you see what he's doing in his career in the postseason, a .321 average with 12 RBIs. He scored 35 runs. Joe Torre, throughout the regular season, was dying to get Knobloch back in the lineup when he was injured, because the lineup fit better with Knobloch leading off and Jeter batting second. Tonight it's Jeter leading off and a tester into right field for Pyatt, and 1 away. So trying to get a little different look to this Yankee lineup and trying to kickstart some action. Jeter's leading off. He's gone, and Jorge Posada bats in the number 2 spot.
Joe Torre telling us a couple of hours ago that Chuck Knobloch was upset about not being in the lineup tonight, but took it very well. He certainly understands. Glenn Allen Hill will bat 7th in place of Knobloch. So Joe looking for a little more thump as opposed to on-base percentage in this game.
Apier misses with ball 1 to Posada. Kevin Apier 2-1 against the Yankees this season, in case you're wondering. He was pasted. A 12-1 loss here in August. But he had a terrific start, an 8-1 win in New York late August 25th. Falls behind Posada 2-0.
As we said earlier, Jorge Posada, a dead red hitter. He loves the fastball.
2-1 from Apier.
So you're throwing the fastball, you just keep it away from him. You can see Ramon Hernandez sitting outside. That's usually a good rule of thumb. When a pitcher's behind a hitter, keep the ball away. When he's ahead, that's when you can crowd it.
Three balls and a strike. Splitter missing from Apier, and he falls behind with Justice waiting to hit next. We'd have the velocity in the Fox box in the top left-hand corner of the screen if the radar gun was working. It's broken. That's ball 4, a 1-out walk. Well, if you want to go position by position and look at the relative youth of this athletics team, the check mark is near and on the side of the younger players at that position. So the A's have younger players at every position except for second base, where they have 37-year-old Randy Velarde. The Yankees have Luis Sojo, who's a little bit younger, but otherwise it's younger at every spot in the lineup for the A's. Here's Justice. 1 on, 1 out. Strike one. Career high in home runs with 41. Picked up by the Yankees on the 30th of June, and he went on to pound 20 home runs and drive in 60. High heat, strike two.
We talked about that four-seam fastball, and that's what David Justice just swung through. Or Kevin Apier. He busted that ball right around the letters. Justice under it.
He's only been waiting since 1989, his first year in the big leagues, to pitch in the postseason, as he misses high with a fastball at 1-2. Pitching coach for these A's is Rick Peterson, a guy who's heavy into the philosophical side of pitching, which I know you were as a catcher for many years in the big leagues.
Dealing with Steve Carlson, yes.
That's a different sort of philosophy. Still 1-2 on Justice. You were one of the few that could read that philosophy. Rick Peterson specializes in Eastern philosophy.
That's an interesting note there. David Justice, his 79th postseason game, and as we explained in the opening, the Athletics roster with only 9 coming into this game.
So Justice waits for a 1-2 pitch from Apier. Posada on with 1 away. Wouldn't go after it. And it missed for ball 2, 2-2.
Apier trying to get David Justice to go after the splitter. That's his ground ball pitch. He had it down, but Justice is not one that swings at too many bad balls.
I think that padding, that protection on the right elbow of Justice is sufficient. You swing a bat with that thing around your elbow, but he can, and he's well protected as he stands in, and that's a sore spot, so to speak, with a lot of people in this game that think it's ludicrous that a guy can stand at the plate with that sort of guard on any part of their body, let alone that front arm. A fearless hitter as he waits for a 2-2 pitch. Full count.
Again, trying for the strikeout. Yeah, David Justice has more padding on that right arm than a SWAT team. You can look for Posada to run here. This fastball does not tail back over the plate. One thing you have to be sure, if you're the runner on at first base, we say this often during the season, you have to make sure the pitcher pitches.
Ball 4, back-to-back walks. So as we just showed you, the guy who led the American League in walks this season has walked 2 here in the first inning after taking care of Jeter. And now it's up to the heart of this Yankee lineup to get something done. So much has been made of the way the Yankees have played. During the last half of the month of September, they entered the postseason having lost 15 of 18, 7 straight. Now you can make it 8 straight if you want to count last night's game, tack it on. During that stretch, they didn't hit the ball, and they gave up 1 run after another. And if you try to fix one problem, 2 more seem to pop up for the Yankees, whether it was health or ineffective pitching, lack of clutch hitting. Whatever it is, it hasn't been working for the Yankees. Nice save by Hernandez. Ball 1 to Bernie Williams.
What a terrific play by Ramon Hernandez. Looked like a splitter, that ball going down, and Hernandez shifting his weight to his right. Nice play. Well, the Yankees, during their remarkable run, they've won 3 or 4 world championships, 96, 98, and last year. They've won 12 straight World Series games. And from an offensive standpoint, one of the big reasons they have been very patient. They're proving it again tonight with Posada at second base. Justice at first. The Yankees are fourth in pitches per plate appearance. And who's second? The Oakland Athletic.
Which is a very big point to this game. It's something that we'll be talking about throughout the night, as Andy Pettit will be forced to throw a lot of pitches tonight. And if there is one glaring weakness to this Yankee team, it's middle relief. 1 ball, no strikes on Williams. 2 on, 1 out. That's backing out of play. A ball and a strike.
The Seattle Mariners beating the Chicago White Sox. They go 2-0 against the White Sox as that series resumes on Friday in Seattle. They lead the American League in pitches per plate appearance. Then Oakland, then Cleveland, and then the Yankees.
It's on the inside corner. Strike 2 from Apier.
What happens on a ball like this? A guy like Bernie Williams picks the ball up about 15 feet out in front of home plate. He thinks it's going to be inside, but the ball tails late in there for a strike. That antiperspirant fastball. Arms up.
Arms up. Never
Right.
let him see a sweat. 1-2 the count with Tino Martinez also struggling on deck. Little pop-up, shallow right, and a long run for Pyatt. Out of the sunlight into the shade, 2 away. Talk about being tested in the postseason for a guy who'd never played any outfield prior to this season. Glasses on and that sun-splashed right field, and he stayed with it and made a routine play look routine.
Yep. From the sun to the shadows, there is nothing hit in the air or on the ground that's routine in center to right center field, because Terrence Long, that's what he is confronting, and that's what Bernie Williams will be confronting when he gets out on defense.
So now Tino Martinez, who's had his least productive year as a Yankee in the year 2000. 16 home runs, the 91 RBIs. On the outside corner, strike 1 from Apier.
Tell you what, Joe, in the worst way, the Yankees need a big hit. I mean in the worst way. A team that's used to 3-run home runs, to 2-out hits over the years, they have not been getting them since early September.
Chased it, strike 2.
Going after a ball out of the strike zone.
This crowd and these A's want to heap more frustration on the world champion Yankees. Inside here in the first inning from Apier, and it's 1-2 on Tino Martinez. Well hit down the line, but jerked foul.
I really think Tino Martinez was looking for that pitch. It's the same pattern that Apier used with Bernie Williams. Fastball inside, and then he tried to get Bernie out with the splitter. He did get Williams with the splitter, and Martinez looking for it, it appeared, jerks it foul.
So a guy was actually paying attention on deck.
Oh, yeah.
Again, the 1-2.
Especially if a left-handed hitter. If you're a left-handed hitter and you're on deck, you vigilantly watch the guy in front of you, as Paul O'Neill is doing with Tino Martinez.
Pitch number 27 of the first inning coming from the hand of Apier. Hit by Martinez and off the glove of Velarde. They'll hold Posada at third, and the bases are loaded with 2 away.
Martinez hits it hard, and Randy Velarde temporarily saves a run by knocking this ball down. That forces Posada to stay at third base. But at least he slowed it down, knocked it down. Posada couldn't score, and now a visit from Rick Peterson.
So Peterson's out there talking about Zen and the art of motorcycle repair, and Apier's trying to get around Paul O'Neill with the bases loaded, 2 out. Here in the first inning, Joe Torre wanted to take the pressure off Paul O'Neill by batting him 6th. The pressure is squarely on Paul O'Neill, batting in the number 6 spot here, looking for a 2-out RBI hit.
Big part in last night's ball game. Knobloch had a base hit, went to second on an error, and after a walk to Jeter, first and second, nobody out. Paul O'Neill grounded to a double play. The Yankees eventually took the lead with 2 runs in the second, but that was an inning that they could have and should have and wanted to score more, or score anything.
So here's O'Neill, who's been bothered by a sore right hip. On and off. He's had 2 cortisone injections in that right hip. He's asked by the Yankees to put him on top here in the first inning. Strike on the outside corner, according to Chuck Merriweather, and not Paul O'Neill.
For one thing, in discussing Chuck Merriweather, Joe Torre telling us that Merriweather has a wide plate, and he is consistent with that. Yankee hitters hoping that he will be as consistent with Pettit as he just was with Appier.
So why not try to extend it a little more? It's 1-1. Posada, the runner at third, he walked. Justice on at second, he walked, and a hit for Tino Martinez. In and out of the glove of Velarde on the dive to his left, and Andy Pettit wondering if they'll have a lead when he walks to the mound in the bottom of the inning. Appier falls behind, 2-1. Joe Torre laid his head on his pillow last night in some hotel here in the Oakland or San Francisco area. He came up with this lineup. Much different look than they've had at any point during the season. Knobloch takes his seat. Jeter was leading off. Now O'Neill in the number 6 spot is up on the count here. 3 balls and a strike. Look at the lineup. See Hill on deck, and if he bats here in the first inning, that'd be good news for the Yankees.
Again, a fastball hitting situation. Watch Ramon Hernandez, the catcher. He won't sit inside. He'll sit outside. O'Neill will probably get the fastball, but it will be a tailing fastball away.
It was, and the count's full. Now as the runners will go here in the first inning for Paul O'Neill. Runners go, and O'Neill shoots one into right. Hyatt out of the sun, into the shade, and the half inning is over. The number 6 spot, O'Neill gets a first inning chance and leaves the bases loaded. Andy Pettit to the hill, no score after a half inning in the starting lineup for the A's, brought to you by AutoTrader.com. Terrence Long leads off in center field. Randy Velarde bats second at second. Jason Giambi hits third. Almedo Saenz is the DH. With Miguel Tejada, the shortstop, Ben Grieve in left field. Adam Hyatt is in right. Eric Chavez is at third base with Ramon Hernandez Batting in the number 9 spot, doing the catching. And here is the Yankee defense. Justice, Williams, and O'Neill in the outfield. Soho has had a ton of playing time since they reacquired him from the Pittsburgh Pirates midway through the season. He's at second with Knobloch watching from the bench. Posada catching Andy Pettit, a 19-game winner during the regular season.
Andy Pettit, 2 of those 19 games, 1 were against the Oakland Athletics. He beat them in early May, then he beat them in August. Only 1 earned run in 18, make that 17 innings of work, 19-9 on the year. He gave up only 7 home runs, and I say only, that could come into play here with the power-packed Athletics. He's improved against left-handed hitters, and the Athletics have 3 in the lineup tonight. He works faster from the lineup, from the windup, and between pitches. And he no longer falls in love with that cutter.
Choose on that pitch up and into Terrence Long, former Met. Traded here last season in Montgomery, Alabama. And it was Kenny Rogers going the other way to the Mets, and they sent Long here, and he has at least filled the role in the leadoff spot for the A's. Not your prototypical leadoff hitter. A guy who can hit some home runs, drive in runs. He hit 18 home runs during the regular season. Could very well be the Rookie of the Year in the American League. So Long, who fights that sunlight while playing defensively in center field, now has to fight it with a hitter's backdrop facing Pettit. And it's 2-2.
Yesterday, in the first inning, Chuck Knobloch leads off the game with a single to center. And Terrence Long not only losing the ball in the air because of the sun, but even the ball on the ground. And Bernie Williams would have that same problem if the ball were hit to his left right now.
To his right, Soho. 1 away. The third member of our broadcast team is Josh Lewin, who's fighting that sunlight out in the outfield somewhere. Josh?
Hey, Joe. Weather on the 8th, bulletins at 1. The sun is going to be an issue for about another 10 more minutes, the way the sun has been creeping across the field. You know, for Terrence Long, that 34th pitch first inning, probably not the worst thing in the world. It almost guarantees that by the time he gets back out in the field, he's not going to have to deal with that, as he described it to me, coming out of the Cineplex glare that you get right when you come out of the movie theater on a nice warm day. At the plate, though, as you said, the sun glints off those windows out of the luxury suites here in right and center field. He says it's more like a beacon, and that, too, is very distracting. But when he gets back out on the field, it could be that he doesn't have to worry about the sun out there for too much longer, Joe.
All right, Josh. Turn around and rejoin your friends. We'll check back in with you in a minute. 1 away, and with Velarde at the plate, it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. That's what Terrence is talking about over on the dugout bench right now. That's low. 2-1 on the former Yankee. Was with New York from 87 through 95 and involved in the postseason. One of the few guys who's played October baseball when it's counted in this Oakland Athletic lineup.
Randy Velarde looking for more playing time with the California Angels. They were the California Angels then, and they signed him as a free agent. He got more playing time, but the Yankees won the World Championship the next year.
It's always something, isn't it? Want more playing time? Fine. Goodbye. The Yankees have won 3 of the next 4 World Championships. Giambi waiting on deck. 3-1 to Velarde. A 1-out walk. Well, we said it. I'll say it again now. I'll probably say it again in 2 innings. This Oakland Athletics team, this organization, prides itself on being patient at the plate. They teach it at the lowest levels of the minor leagues. You cannot be a minor league player of the week or month in the Oakland Athletics farm system if you don't draw at least one walk every 10 at-bats. They make the opposing pitcher work, throw pitches, they're patient, and they will force Pettit to work to get through his innings here tonight. And be aware that if the Yankees have a lead late, Joe Torre told us before the game he'll go right to Mariano Rivera if he needs it for 2 full innings. His best setup guy tonight might be his starter, Andy Pettit. The 0-1. 0-2 on Giambi.
Interestingly, the inspiration for taking a lot of pitches, and Giambi does it as well as any of the Athletics, the inspiration coming from the Philadelphia Phillies, the 1993 Phillies, that had 4 men on their roster that walked over 100 times. Sandy Alderson, who was the general manager before Billy Beane took over. Beane was his assistant. Sandy said, that's how you want to model your offense. Alderson's gone, but Beane has fulfilled that wish.
Giambi with a big hit into right field. Velarde will turn and go to third. O'Neill's throw now cut off. Too late. First and third, 1 out.
Excellent base running by Velarde. That extra hop to Paul O'Neill, the short hop. And Velarde made up his mind to go to third base. Inside fastball, yanked to right field. O'Neill with that short hop right there, and Velarde makes up his mind. Had O'Neill caught that ball around the shoulder instead of a short hop, Velarde, I think, stays at second. But that one last look, but right before he got to second base, bang, he's gone. Good play.
Not only does that right hip bother O'Neill at the plate, but it bothers him getting to the ball in the outfield. Joe Torre also telling us that O'Neill's arm is fine. It's just taking him longer to get to the ball and get rid of it.
And get set. You're right.
Olmedo Signs is at the plate. He's the DH tonight for Art Howe. We've had a couple of shots of Howe already, and there's a good story there with the A's skipper. First and third, 1 out. Misses from Pettit. Boy, it is vital who the home plate umpire is with Pettit on the mound, a guy who does feature that cutter, a guy who works on the outside parts of the plate. Outside, inside, whatever it is. And the luck of the draw, good luck or bad luck for Pettit and the Yankees, it's Chuck Merriweather behind the plate. The rest of the guys joining him on this crew is Signs is now even with a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
For the most part, you folks at home watching the game, you'll see that center field shot. And if you see the ball inside to a right-handed batter, usually it's the cutter from Andy Pettit. He puts pressure on the middle finger and actually cuts through the ball. It's similar to a slider, but it doesn't have the same spin as a slider does. To Signs.
So Andy Pettit, who matches up well against this left-handed dominant team, the A's, is in first inning trouble, as was Apier, who got out of trouble. Broken bat might be 2. Brocious, Soho in the middle, 5-4-3. And now the A's miss a scoring chance in the first. Signs grounds into the double play. Each side threatens in the first. And after 1, here in Oakland, game 2 of this divisional series, no score. Well, we're fortunate tonight to have a microphone on the chest of Mike Quade, the first base coach for the A's. Here's what he said to Velarde prior to that base hit the opposite way, or to right, by Giambi.
You know the drill, man. Great late move. Line drive, ground ball, money. O'Neill will be deep and right, going first to third.
Next pitch, line drive to right, first to third by Randy Velarde.
Run Allen Hill with that big swing, pops it foul, third base side. Chavez is there, and he makes a nice play, 1 out.
Baseball is a game of anticipation. if you anticipate correctly, it gives your instincts a chance. So Velarde being told by Quaddy, O'Neill is deep because Giambi was the batter. Go from first to third. He did it. Anticipate, use your instincts.
Lord loves a working man. See a doctor and get rid of it. Other things to live by. 1 out, nobody on here in the second inning. Soho, the number 8 hitter, with Brocious, the number 9 man, waiting to hit next. Really the bottom of the order last night that gave the Yankees even a chance in the game with some early production. Soho in the game last night had a hit, which was an RBI double, and it was followed by Brocious and his RBI double. Strike one from Apier.
The last 3 batters in each lineup last night, very productive.
Soho popped one into right center, and that's easy for long. Doesn't have to bother with the sunlight anymore. 2 out. At least the glaring sunlight. Still have sunlight here. The lights are on in Oakland. And with 2 out, nobody on, the number 9 batter is Brocious.
Some guys like the ball down. Some guys like the ball up. Some away to extend their arms. Some guys like it inside. Brocious, an inside hitter. The Athletics all night will be trying to stay away from the World Series MVP of just 2 years ago when the Yankees beat San Diego 4 in a row.
Although for the Yankees and their fans, that seems like a long time ago with the production of Brocious. It's been a down year with 16 home runs, 64 RBIs. And on the corners of their infield, they have really lagged behind league averages. Brocious at third and Tino Martinez at first. Heck, both might be out of the Yankee pinstripes next year if they want to make some changes. You'd have to believe that this team will be tinkered with some. See what Brocious has done and Martinez. American League average for third baseman on your left, 21 home runs. Brocious at 16. That's the average, by the way. And across the infield, the average 21 home runs, and Tino Martinez at 16.
And Scott Brocious coming from the Athletics to the Yankees for Kenny Rogers 2 winters ago.
A 1-2. A weak swing and a miss, and that's strikeout number 1 for Apier, and a perfect second inning for the 32-year-old right-hander. We go to the bottom of the second. A's bat, no score.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Autotrader.com, the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
Welcome back to Oakland. No doubt Jason Giambi is the leader of this Oakland Athletic team, and here are his thoughts on this terrific 24-year-old shortstop, Miguel Tejada.
He can make the unbelievable play like Nomar. He can hit with power like A-Rod. He's got the speed of Jeter. I mean, he brings all that into play. The only difference that he lacks of those guys is that polished, effect, because they grew up playing baseball where Miggy was a shoeshine boy. I mean, in Dominican.
Tejada takes a strike over the outside corner.
Tejada signed by Juan Marichal, the Dominican dandy, obviously from the Dominican Republic. Signed when he was 17 years old. He was so malnourished as a 14-year-old that at the Marichal Academy in the Dominican Republic, the Athletics had to actually feed him for 3 years to get his nourishment up so they could determine whether he was going to be a major league prospect or not. That's how bad a shape he was in when they first laid eyes on him.
He hits a 2-hopper to third, picked up by Brocious, and the long throw is true, 1 out. Another thing he learned, not only to hit, to play baseball, and to get nourishment at the academy, was how to speak English. He's a very engaging guy, and a guy who has obviously worked long and hard on the English language, which is always a benefit to Latin American players playing in the United States. Here's Ben Green. number 6 hitter in this lineup. He's 24 years old. Rookie of the year 2 years ago, and he has that pretty swing and a foul out of play left side. You got Grieve, he's 24. Hyatt's 24. Chavez is 22. Ramon Hernandez is 24. Tejada's 24. A couple of 29-year-olds in Giambi and Signs. Long is 24 years old. He's the leadoff hitter. Well, this A's farm system has really cranked out one prospect and one solid major leaguer after another, from Grieve to Chavez to Pyatt. You see Grieve, the 98th American League Rookie of the Year, and Ben takes one that just missed as Bennett falls behind 2-1. The first time in his young career, Grieve went over the century mark in the RBI category. 2-1, 2-2. The Oregon player drowns out the drum corps.
There they are without the bugles. Just the drum corps.
Yeah, my ear would hurt too sitting out there. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Grieve out in front, a roller to Tino Martinez.
No truth to the rumor that here in Oakland they're trying to sign John Adams, the drummer in Cleveland, as a free agent.
That's the guy with the big bass.
Yeah, you got it.
I didn't know that he fit in with his crew.
Right here.
Here's Pyatt with 2 out, nobody on. Adam, the number 7 hitter in this lineup. Rookie season this season. As I mentioned, 24 years old. A guy who against left-handed pitching this season at .373 in all 5 of his home runs against lefties. Bennett jumps out in front 0-2. That drum thing's a little disconcerting, I have to be honest with you.
Yeah. You kind of get used to after.
Really?
I think so.
Bennett with that glare. And Pyatt may have broken his bat. At any rate, it's a foul, and the count's still 1-2.
Experience teaches young hitters, as you see Chavez on deck, but experience teaches pitchers that good young power hitters love to extend their arms. Often, it's best to tie them up inside and then go away. 3 straight cut fastballs in on the hands of Adam Pyatt.
Foot on the back line of that batter's box, and a 1-2 from Pettit. Right center and slicing to O'Neill. Gives way to Williams, and that'll do it. So after a long first inning on each side, the 2 starters settle down and have a perfect second inning. Into the third, back after this from your local Fox station. Well, the top of the order for the Yankees. That means Jeter, Posada, and Justice will bat against the right-hander Apier, who walked a couple, gave up a hit, but lived to tell. Brian Cashman, anxious times, nervous times for the Yankees. I don't care what anybody says. And Joe Torre talked about it prior to Game 1 yesterday, that in a short series, best of 5, as Jeter grounds to third, Chavez, one play. Woo! 1 out, as the 22-year-old to his right robs the 26-year-old of a leadoff hit.
Chavez actually had a chance to set his feet and throw, but he elects to throw off balance. A perfect strike to Giambi to get Jeter easily. All in one motion. Back across his body. Perfect strike. And Jeter's out on 1 pitch.
The urgency that's put on this game 2 for the Yankees, trying to get back to the World Series, and obviously there's another round to go through, another level to go through before they get back to the World Series, but trying to win for the 3rd consecutive year and become the first team to do it since the Oakland Athletics, 72-74. They're already down 1 game tonight. They're taking on Apier tonight with Pettit on the mound. It's a big part of that success in the 70s. Late catfish hunter. And the problem worsened for the Yankees because as this series heads back east, Tim Hudson, the young right-hander, a 20-game winner, will pitch in game 3, and he's been the best pitcher in baseball over the last month. And then the young left-hander, Barry Zito, will pitch in game 4. Those are their 2 best. Like Posada tried to lean into that pitch. 2 balls and a strike as it missed his knee.
I don't think he picked it up. I think it was a splitter. There you see Denny Nagel, Randy Choate, 2 left-handers in the bullpen.
Nagel's a big pro wrestling fan. Looks like he's giving Choate an update.
Denny Nagel, a pro wrestling fan. Matt Stairs, a big hockey fan. Matt not in the lineup tonight.
That's enough of that. 2 balls and a strike. That's on the inside corner. Well, the train whistle and all the other stuff that goes along with Denny Nagel is taking a back seat to the fact that he has just pitched horribly over the past month and may have cost himself a lot of money in the process, as well as the Yankees have a solid left-handed starter in these playoffs. Posada grounds out 4-3. Justice will bat with the bases empty. Here's Joe Torre talking about the importance of these early games in the best-of-5 series.
It's definitely pressure-packed. I mean, this first series of 5 games, it's very tough. Understand that each team that's in this postseason, everybody's capable of winning 3 games in a row. So even the fact that you lose 2 games, the Red Sox last year, they come back and win 3 games. You get that momentum turned with 1 game.
Here's Justice now with the bases empty, 2 out, ball 1. It's a little more complicated than that, though, for the Yankees, who have lost 8 in a row now. They haven't played well on the road. As I mentioned, they'll have to go home and take on Hudson and Zito. And they have literally stumbled into the playoffs. Uncertainty about their roster heading into the postseason. David Cohen a part of that. 2 out, nobody on. The 1-0 is a strike from Apier to Justice.
You know, normally that is not a problem for a ball club, particularly for a ball club like the Yankees. But they have been doing so horribly over the last 3 weeks that it did carry into last night. And you're looking at a ball club whose confidence is low right now. Baseball, a very difficult thing. You got to stay on top of it. But the New York Yankees have won 3 games in their last 19. That's since September 14th. The Athletics, on the other hand, they are like 2 trains passing in the night. And the Yankees hope to turn that around. That earned run average, by the way, the Athletics, the best in baseball for the month of September.
Apier got the visit from his catcher, Hernandez, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Justice. Justice has been bothered by a sore groin, and it's affected him lately. That's a rocket with foul. 1-2. Hard to believe that a team of the success that the Yankees have had over the past 4 seasons could be a shaken team and a team with low self-esteem and a lack of confidence, but that is without a doubt the case for this Yankee team.
Absolutely.
Justice lives to see another pitch. Apier thought he had him over the outside corner.
Normally a pitch that Chuck Merriweather, remember we talked about his wide plate. We'll usually give a pitcher that pitch. But the Athletics didn't get the call.
And now the 2-2. Got him anyway. Forkball got him, and that's the second strikeout for the right-hander, Apier. That's 7 straight retired by Kevin Apier. Now Pettit back to the hill. Bottom of third here in Oakland, no score. There's another look at first base coach Mike Quaddy wearing the microphone. It's always interesting to talk to players on these teams after we do a game, usually on the Fox Saturday game of the week, and they realize that not only is somebody in their dugout wearing a microphone, but that the bases are mic'd. And they all have different reactions. Some like it, some have fun with it, some can't stand it, that we're invading their space. Here's Chavez. He takes a strike over the outside corner. And I can already tell that Quaddy is going to be a guy that will enjoy having Mike throughout this series. 0-1 the count. Chavez takes low from Andy Pettit.
Mike Quaddy used to manage a lot of these young Athletics. The AAA manager managed up in Vancouver when Terrence Long was acquired last year.
Ball and 2 strikes on Chavez, who this year against left-handers hit 197, lowest among all players in the American League.
Pretty good, and a big knock for an insurance run off Mike Stanton last night in the 8th inning. Eric driving in the 5th run of the ball game. He went 3 for 4 last night. Good game.
Two and 2. Chavez, and then the young catcher, Ramon Hernandez. The word young, have I said that enough tonight? It's almost redundant when we talk about the A's. Two balls, 2 strikes. And we'll do it again.
See, that's the one thing that Andy Pettit has done this year that he didn't do so much of in past years. He's thrown the fastball that tails in on the left-handed batter. And left-handers facing left-handed pitchers have to have some fear. And that's what that fastball tailing inside does to them. It allows the left-hander to go back outside. We'll see where Pettit goes here.
Chavez the opposite way, sending Justice back at the wall to make the catch. 1 away.
So after that inside fastball, Pettit does go away. And Chavez showing great power the other way. David Justice looking for the wall with that right hand. Had enough room to make the play.
Number 55, Ramon Hernandez. Catcher.
When they first got Justice, Joe Torre's plan was to DH David Justice a lot more than he's been able to because of the defensive problems that these Yankees have had. Here's Ramon Hernandez. 241 hitter during the regular season last night, 2 out of 4, and drove home 2 runs in Game 1, and 5-3 win. But when they added Jose Canseco, when they added Glenn Allen Hill, really when they added Polonia, who's not that great in the outfield, and then you add to that the struggles of Chuck Knobloch, who's had that mental block at throwing the ball from the second base position. Lately, Joe Torre, including last night, has been DHing Knobloch, forcing him to put Justice in the outfield. The 2-0. 2-1.
This season started with the New York Yankees platooning Ricky Leday and Shane Spencer. Ricky Leday was traded to Cleveland and ultimately ended up in Texas. And Shane Spencer had a knee problem. Shane was out for the year back in early July. But you're not going to get any defense out of Jose Canseco, nor Glenn Allen Hill, and very little out of Polonia. Even though of the 3, Polonia is the better fielder. Matter of fact, he's the only guy that they would consider putting out there.
Jorge Posada has to battle the photographers for that foul pop-up, and it was out of his reach. 2-2.
Jorge did not have a lot of hang time right there. Over in the photographer's well, reaches in, but comes up empty.
Talked about those outfielders. Spencer was probably the best defensive outfielder of that entire group that we mentioned. Crowd trying to get back into it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, no score in the 3rd inning. Reaching for it. Strikeout number 1 for Andy Pettit. We talked about Mike Quade, the first base coach. Last half inning, he was shooting the breeze with Matt Stairs by the dugout, and Matt finally noticed that Quade was wearing a mic.
He doesn't. So maybe it's an American. Maybe it's an American thing.
How do they know you're talking to?
They don't do that in Canada.
How do they know you're talking to?
Huh?
How do they know you're talking to?
No, they don't do it live. They don't do it. I don't know. They just they said they wanted to mic me. I don't know. They'll pick out something stupid I say, and then they'll stick it on there and embarrass me in front of the world. Huh?
Who's doing it?
I guess Fox.
You guys got a score in a hockey game yet?
No, we don't, Matt. And yes, Mike, this is Fox. 2 out, nobody on, and Long shoots one into center for Williams. Right at him. The inning is over. Do we have a hockey score? Anybody? Can I get a hockey score? The score of the hockey game. Here it's no score after 3. Well, for the St. John, New Brunswick, Canada native on your right, Matt Stairs, and why not, for Mike Quade on your left. There's the hockey score for you. Game 1 of the NHL season. The Stars lead over Colorado 2-1 in the 2nd period.
Matt, a dead ringer for Yosemite Sam. He used to go home in the wintertime and drive the Zamboni at what is the equivalent of a AAA hockey team in St. John's, New Brunswick. It's a minor league team of the Montreal Canadiens.
Bernie Williams leads off and gets a base hit into center field. Breaks a string of 7 in a row, retired by Apier. And the leadoff man is on for the first time tonight for the Yankees.
Bernie Williams reaching out and looked like a splitter, and he reaches out and hammers it up the middle. There's such wisdom in hitters trying to go back through the box because, as you can see, you position yourself so well. And that's why most hitting instructors, to get a guy out of a slump, will have him try to go back up the middle.
Well, you would have to believe that at some stretch that was told to Tino Martinez, who has certainly slumped this season. 1 on, nobody out. Martinez, who singled his first time up, is now 2 out of 4 in this division series. Bats with Williams at first and nobody out. On the outside corner for strike 1.
Different styles, different stances. I think the one thing that is almost universal from every hitting instructor is to point the front shoulder toward the pitcher. And in doing so, you're in good position to hit.
Check on Williams. Bernie has been slowed by a strained right calf and couldn't hit left-handed for a while with a strain in the right side of his rib cage. And he's in first during the season, stole 13 bases. Popped up on a jam shot. Tejada back to get it. 1 out. What's going on playoff-wise in baseball tomorrow? The race for the World Series on Fox continues as Mike Piazza, the New York Mets, try to even their series against Barry Bonds, who had a big day today for the Giants. The Mets in San Francisco, Game 2 of their NL Division Series live from San Francisco. The baseball playoffs on Fox continue tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Leiter, a 16-game winner, will take on Sean Estes, a 15-game winner. So both New York teams are here in the Bay Area. And Both are right now 0-1 in their best-of-5 series. Hernandez keeps it at the plate. Ball one on O'Neill.
Barry Bonds with some woeful series, postseason series with the Pittsburgh Pirates in the early 90s. Boy, what a big day today. What a ball player he is. Probably going to be the MVP of the National League. It could be teammate Jeff Kent.
See the Braves and the Cardinals. Game 2 of that series is tomorrow on ESPN. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Glavine and Kyle, a matchup of 2 20-game winners.
Joe Torre telling us before the game that if there's one guy on the Yankees that he'll hit and run with, it's Paul O'Neill. He's the #1 guy. 1-0 the count. Good time to send Bernie Williams.
Apier checks on him.
The more a hitter struggles and the more of a contact hitter he is, the more inclined you are to put the hit and run on. Because for a guy like Paul O'Neill, who has not had an extra base hit since early September, don't try to do too much. You just try to put the bat on the ball.
There goes the runner. It was the hit and run. A swing and a miss, throw down, and Williams is gone. 2 out.
Apier does not give O'Neill a pitch to hit. Pitch way outside. O'Neill compelled to swing. And Tejada, what a play with that quick tag. And he never made the tag. Bernie Williams was safe. But because Tejada made such a good play, the ball did beat him. That's why they got the call. But he was safe easily. Tejada made second base umpire Paul Schreiber call him out with that fine play.
2 balls and a strike now on O'Neill. Boy, that's one of the real frustrating aspects to the game, and I know it's been going on forever. But at some point, you have to pay a little more attention if the tag gets on the leg before the foot gets on the bag. Yep. Otherwise, if the throw beats him, call him out. And if the throw doesn't beat him, call him safe.
You're right. You can clearly see by that replay that Miguel tagged the ground. His left elbow may have tagged Bernie Williams mid-shin, but he was safe.
So 2 out, nobody on. A 3-ball, 1-strike count on O'Neill, who lined out to right with the bases loaded. 2 out back in the first inning. So O'Neill ought to get something to drive here, and he needs to hang a line drive somewhere. He did hit one rather hard in the first inning, but he hit it to the right fielder Pyatt to end the frame. 3-1 and a 2-out walk. Third walk of the game for Apier. And the inning continues for Glenn Allen Hill. One of the more interesting power strokes in all of baseball is Hill. He just kind of lifts that front foot a little bit, sets it down, and it's all forearms and wrists. Thunder hands. And he is as strong as anybody.
I remember that's what Felipe Alou used to call Glenn Allen Hill thunder hands.
1 on, 2 out. Strike 1.
Nobody has any more power to all fields in the major leagues than Glenn Allen Hill. It doesn't matter whether he can pull the ball, but Apier with a fine slider put him there.
And another, and not much of a swing there by Hill. 0-2.
I tell you put him there every time, and hitters would be out of work. First the slider, then the splitter. I don't think Hill will see a strike in the next 2 pitches.
strikeout. Apier struck out 2. Runner at first, 2 out, no score, and Hill goes after 3 out of the strike zone. And Hill ends the inning with a strikeout. Number 3 on the night for Apier. A hit in the inning, a man out stealing, and a walk. The Yankees have left 4. Bottom of inning number 4 in Oakland. No score. Look at that. Is that beautiful? Look at that. The MetLife blimp Snoopy 2 is teamed up with Fox to provide the aerial views of tonight's ball game in the surrounding Bay Area. I like the surrounding Bay Area than the ball game so far. The blimp contains 68,000 cubic feet of helium and measures 130 feet in length from nose to tail. So we thank them for their participation in tonight's game. And with this scoreless game going into the bottom of the 4th inning, Randy Velarde, Jason Giambi, and Olmedo Signs will bat for the A's. Velarde walked his first time and takes ball 1 here. One ball, 1 strike.
Last time the Athletics and the San Francisco Giants were in postseason together back in 1989, the dreadful earthquake on October 17th, 5:04 p.m. Oakland Athletics had won the first 2 games here at the Coliseum. And then of course, the World Series was suspended for 10 days, and when it resumed, the Athletics won the last 2 games to sweep the Giants. Dave Vincent, the commissioner of baseball at the time. What a horrible happening here in the Bay Area. I will never, never forget it, and I'm sure that millions in this area won't either.
And so many that suffered terrible consequences. Boy. That was back in '89. And the last World Championship for this A's franchise. A franchise that's been around for 100 seasons. Go back to their days in Philadelphia. They were there for 54 years. Connie Mack, the manager, for 50 of those years. There's the Bay Bridge.
The infamous Bay Bridge. One panel went down. Remarkably, that person in that car, and everybody remembers that scene, caught by ABC television.
Velarde strikes out over the inside corner, and that's strikeout number 2 for Pettit.
That's what that cutter can do. It looked like Velarde was trying to protect away, and Andy Pettit has that cut fastball in under the hands, right on the corner.
That'll bring in Giambi. His teammates were chanting MVP, MVP at him when he came into the clubhouse on Sunday when they wrapped up the American League's Western Division. They finished a half game better than the Seattle Mariners. And the chant starts again. A strike on the inside corner. And how does he measure against the other candidates? Alex Rodriguez, Frank Thomas, Carlos Delgado. And there's Giambi. You could make a case for any of them. The top 3 that are talked about are Delgado, Giambi, and Thomas. I think you and I are in agreement that the guy at the plate right now, second from your left on that graphic, Giambi, is the guy who deserves it.
I think so. I think if the Athletics do not get in it and the Toronto Blue Jays make it, I think Carlos Delgado.
The opposite way, and Jeter to his right, stabs it, throws it, high but out. 2 away.
And Lou Piniella makes a very good point, saying that Alex Rodriguez should get it because he plays a much more important position, and that's shortstop, as his good buddy Derek Jeter backhands that ball. A low laser by Giambi, and Derek makes a relatively easy play as Martinez goes up and comes down in ample time.
So Giambi retired, and here is Signs. Olmedo bounced into a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play in the first inning. A ball from Pettit, who's approaching 27 innings pitched and 3+ starts against Oakland. He's allowed only 15 hits, 3 earned runs, and an ERA right around 1. A 1-0.
A lot of infielders play the count. You can see Scott Brocious at third base leaning a little bit more toward the line because with the count 2-0 and 2 outs, Signs is more apt to pull the ball right now. It's a cat-and-mouse game that goes on. If he's more apt to pull it, then Pettit puts the fastball on the outside part. Sometimes you don't guard the line. You kind of lean toward the line.
The 2-1 to Signs. Good rip, 2-2. Tejada waits on deck. The shortstop who hit 30 home runs this season. From Pettit is on the outside corner. That's 3 strikeouts in the game, and Pettit has settled in. The Bay Bridge here in the Bay Area. We're in Oakland. We're through 4, and there is no score. The Yankees will bat in the 5th inning and send in the bottom 2, Soho, Brocious, and then Jeter. No score. Game 2. A's up 1-0. Of the 40 Yankee teams that have participated in postseason baseball, this Yankee crew here in the year 2000 with a record of 87-74 has the worst record of any of them. 7-game losing streak at the end of the regular season. Tack one on with last night's loss, and there's a strike over the outside corner to Soho. Soho fly to center his first time up. He went after that, and it's 0-2. You look at the worst winning percentage for the Yankees postseason teams, and this 2000 crew is at the top of the list with a winning percentage of .540. 3 entries on that list were world champions. But again, as you've talked about here and elsewhere, you look at Greg Nettles watching this one.
What a great Yankee third baseman he was. Now a scout for the Yankees.
It's more than just a question of flipping a switch for the Yankees. And you read the quotes by the Yankees in the month of September and in the final week. Well, this is nothing. We start fresh in the postseason. We start over. We can wipe away the frustration of losing 15 out of 18. But those quotes don't read so well after last night's 5-3 loss. It was 0-2. Now it's 3-2 on Soho.
Yankees had one must-win game over those 4 years, and that was that game in Cleveland. Game 4 won by El Duque, Orlando Hernandez. He won that ball game. That evened the series up to 2 games apiece a couple of years ago against the Indians. And it will be Orlando Hernandez pitching on Friday. David Cohn, star in years past, just had a miserable year this year. I think Joe Torre may revert to a bunt play right here, at least on the first pitch. If it's a ball, he may go to the hit and run. I think you play it straight up and sacrifice here.
Put a star next to that walk. He lets Soho get away after an 0-2 count, and there's at least Brocious showing the bunt and taking strike 1. Anything to try to get out in front tonight, especially with the way Pettit is pitching. Picking up where he left off during the regular season against this Oakland team. Top of the order will follow, and that means Jeter. Brocious didn't tip his hand. He didn't square around and show bunt as Apier checked on Soho over at first.
Yes, Chavez at third base is right on top of Brocious. If Scott expects it to get it down successfully, should be toward first base.
Pitch out. It's 1-1.
And Brocious was not bunting there. The one thing, if you throw that first pitch for a strike, that allows you the luxury of pitching out. New York Yankees have the fewest sacrifices in the American League. Actually, in baseball this year, only 16 times the Joe Torre's Yankees sacrifice.
Back to the bunt. Brocious missed it. It's 1-2.
Brocious normally a very good bunter. He gets the slider and bunts under it.
Joe Torre studying someone, giving signs for these A's as the 1-2 pitch is high and making it 2-2. Art Howe, the manager of these Oakland Athletics. Up to 72 pitches on the night for Apier.
Brocious has got to adjust to Apier right now and look outside and try to go the other way.
He didn't adjust, and he's gone. Strikeout victim number 4 for Apier. 1 out.
A nasty splitter from Kevin Apier. Look at that ball dive out of the strike zone. When you have 2 strikes, you become a defensive hitter. At least if you're successful, that's what you better do. Scott Brocious down on strikes.
Now Jeter, who's 0 for 2. So far, 0 for 5 in this division series. Apier, who missed most of 1998 with shoulder surgery. This is inside with ball 1 to Jeter. Made only 3 starts that year, 98. Last year was 9-9 with Kansas City as all of baseball. Was interested in Apier if he proved that he was healthy. He did that to the point where the A's wanted him and traded for him. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jeter. Runner at first, 1 out on the inside corner. And that's strike 2 on Jeter.
Jeter hits the ball very well the other way. Apier trying to combat that by coming inside on him. Jeter is most proficient going the other way. And I think Adam Pyatt should be to his left about 3 or 4 feet. Jeter can pepper that right field line with 2 strikes.
Jammed him. He went. 2 out. With 1 on, 2 out now, and Posada coming up. We check in with Keith Olbermann in the Fox Television Center.
All right, Joe, the good news is it's only sprain. The bad news is he's on crutches and not talking to reporters after the Barry Bonds screamer in the 3rd in San Francisco this afternoon. Derek Bell will not play in Game 2 of the Mets-Giants series. Game 1 taken by San Fran 5-1. First time they've ever beaten Mike Hampton. Leiter and Estes in Game 2 tomorrow here on Fox. Joe?
All right, Keith, thanks. Derek Bell has just had one of those years where he's had a tough time staying healthy. A lot of leg trouble. Now Posada takes a strike.
Derek Jeter with 2 strikes cannot lay off the high fastball from Apier. I'll tell you, Apier and Pettit both have just been picture perfect since that first inning. Only 3 base runners for both sides since the first.
One ball, one strike.
Not a lot of balls being thrown in the middle of the plate tonight.
Jorge Posada batting in the number 2 spot tonight. That's the opposite way, slicing foul.
Joe Torre talks often about how he wants his players to be intense without being tense. The tension mounting for a team that is really struggling, and they're not used to it.
Two and two. Posada, 28 home runs during the regular season. Justice at 41. He's on deck. As the Yankees try to figure out the 32-year-old right-hander, Kevin Apier. Inning over. Kevin Apier getting his first crack at a postseason start, making the most of it. Shutting out the Yankees through 5. Halfway through game 2. No score.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by CDW. CDW, computing solutions built for business. By Yahoo Sports, fresh sports news 24 hours a day. By Nissan, driven. And by Alka-Seltzer Cold Medicine. Nothing breaks up your cold better.
In section 133, you don't need one of those Whisper 2000s to pick up on the vibe. The drummers have been loud. They have been into it all night with Miguel Tejada about to come up. Let me ask Josh Rosenberg. By the way, out of Skyline High, Tom Hanks' alma mater. He's going to be almost as famous in a moment. Tejada. Is that the chant? Do I have it right?
That's it, Tejada.
You want to get him fired up?
Yeah.
All right. Miguel Tejada coming up. Josh Rosenberg on drummers. Looks a little more like Adam Rich than Buzzwood. The one guy in the middle. But they can play it, fellas. And section 133 is absolutely into it out here. Joe, you talked about it being a frat party atmosphere. 46,000 at this poker party tonight.
Josh, thank you. Tejada at the plate, no score. Bottom of the 5th inning. Well hit into right. Back is O'Neill. A long way to go for out number 1.
Paul O'Neill with room and right. Gives you an idea of the power Tejada has the other way. We talked about Kevin Apier. Andy Pettit has retired 12 in a row. Little flutter to the heart there.
Reed now, strike 1. You should know that there was only one left-handed home run hit against Andy Pettit this season. That was Troy Gloss, who had that terrific year with the Angels. Lefty against lefty here, and it's Ben Grieve who grounded out to first his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's what Andy Pettitte, a 0.86 ERA against the A's this season, including this start. Why the Yankees had to like this matchup coming in, but Kevin Appier has matched Pettitte so far. Two balls and a strike, one out, nobody on. Two and two on Grieve. The last left-handed batter to hit a home run, and the only against Pettitte this year was Ventura during interleague play back in June. Gloss is the last batter to hit a home run against Andy Pettitte as I backpedal here in the 5th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on, and Grieve rolls 1 to second. Soho, nothing to it, 2 out. This week, Fox NFL Sunday begins with Terry, Howie, JB, and Chris on America's favorite pregame show. Then Stephen Davis and the Redskins take on Donovan McNabb and the Eagles, a big battle in the NFC East. Or Tiki Barber and the Giants square off against Jamal Anderson and the fading Falcons, plus other regional action. It all starts at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, only right here on Fox. Here's Pyatt. He flied to center his first time up.
Joe, your point, the last time Pyatt was up there, all 5 home runs he hit this year off of left-handed pitching.
A high strike, and it's 0-1.
Last year, he had 39 home runs and 135 RBIs.
Now that's a minor league season.
That's a minor league season.
See how the ball jumps off his back into the glove of Jeter, and another perfect inning for Andy Pettitte, who's giving the Yankees all he's got tonight and everything that they need. We go to the 6th inning. Appier back to the work, and there is no score. Welcome back to the division series on Fox, and a shot from the MetLife blimp. Snoopy 2 is under the command. Captains Marty Chandler and Mitch Johnson with help from co-pilot Snoopy. The MetLife blimp, Snoopy 1 and Snoopy 2, travel approximately 200 days a year visiting towns and cities throughout the U.S. Don't laugh when I read that stuff.
Well, it's cute. Co-pilot Snoopy.
It is cute. Here's David Justice, who Halle Berry thought was cute, married him, and was married to him for a while.
Yeah.
One of the biggest stretches of a segue in the history of broadcasting. 2-0 as Appier doesn't get the outside corner, with Bernie Williams and Tino Martinez to follow as somebody tries to break through here tonight.
Now, the thing about falling behind David Justice is 41 home runs on the year, 20 as a Yankee.
To Hopper to Velarde. Justice 0 for 2. Well, we come in talking about Andy Pettitte and what he's done against the A's this season. How about Kevin Appier and the job he's doing tonight against the Yankees in the pitchers comparison? Very similar. The 4 walks, Apier's been able to get around him, including 2 back in the first inning. Pitch count, there's a disparity there. And that's good news for the Yankees. Only 64 pitches through 5 innings for a team that isn't confident with its middle relief. Is very confident with their short relief, especially Rivera, who would be used for a couple of innings tonight if the Yankees get the opportunity. That is hard hit and fair down into the right field corner. Pyatt digs it out, and Bernie Williams has a double with 1 out here in the 6th inning.
First extra base hit in this ball game. What a rocket to right. Bernie Williams with 37 doubles on the season. Nobody runs as hard out of the box as Bernie Williams.
So a runner in scoring position, and now the Yankees will ask for a hit out of Tino Martinez or Paul O'Neill. Division Series ranks, and of course the Yankees have been involved more than anyone in Division Series play. First in all those categories: hits, RBIs, runs, you name it. He's at the top of the list. He gets his second hit of tonight's game, his fourth of this Division Series, as Tino Martinez takes ball one inside. Different look to this Yankee lineup tonight. So far it hasn't produced anything, but remember, Paul O'Neill, instead of in that typical number 3 spot, is batting 6th, and he's on deck. Apier wanted that pitch, didn't get it. It's 2-0.
Paul O'Neill had the bases loaded in the first inning with 2 outs, fly to right. He had a runner on. Bernie Williams erased on a hit and run play his next time up. Good splitter. There is a place to put Tino Martinez. I don't think you'll see a ball down the middle of the plate. First base open.
One after it, low and away, and it's 2-1.
If you're going to get it down the middle of the plate, Kevin Apier says, well, here's my splitter. About knee high. If the Athletics do retire Tino Martinez, then Art Howe can decide whether to walk Paul O'Neill to get to Glen Allen Hill.
Tino Martinez trying to put New York out in front here in the 6th inning. Tino Martinez arguing. Chuck Merriweather gave an odd call. It counts 2-2.
Remember, we talked about the tailing fastball. You could see clearly that ball's inside. It does not tail back over the plate, but Apier gets the call.
A late call by Merriweather.
And we talked about the wide plate that Merriweather had.
So instead of 3-1, it's 2-2.
Big difference.
Runner at second, 1 out. Got him on the inside corner. Another delayed call, and Martinez is hot. 7th strikeout for Apier.
Merriweather with 2 odd late calls to Tino Martinez. He called the first one that appeared to be inside. He calls the second one that appears to be inside. With Tino Martinez, though, once he calls that first one, better be hacking with that next one. And now Art Howe is out to talk to Apier to see what he wants to do about Paul O'Neill. Do you walk O'Neill, a guy who has been struggling, and then throw Glen Allen Hill like you did the last time? Splitters and sliders out of the zone. Paul O'Neill, Glen Allen Hill. Apier has his choice. We'll see what they do.
Well, O'Neill is lined to right with the bases loaded. He did that back in the first. He walked in the fourth. Hill has looked bad at the plate tonight. These are the 2 pitches called for the last 2 strikes against Tino Martinez. That was strike 2, and that's strike 3. And the decision has been made. They're going to walk Paul O'Neill and take their chances with Glen Allen Hill. Apier made Hill look bad back in the 4th inning when he struck him out on 3 consecutive pitches, down and out of the strike zone.
That's part of it. The other part is Paul O'Neill, even though he's struggling, and everybody's aware of that, including the Athletics, is a much better control hitter. He's a guy who can put the bat on the ball. I think the Athletics are doing the right thing right now.
And what you just said about O'Neill is really the story with the Yankees.
Yeah.
The Yankees are struggling, but they're one really good pitching performance away, or they're one breakout day at the plate away from feeling that again, getting their confidence back, and trying to get on a roll. That's why, even down 1-0 playing on the road, they're still dangerous. Bernie Williams, so far, has been doing the bulk of the work at the plate for the Yankees. 4 out of 7. He's 2 out of 3 tonight. He's the lead runner at second with O'Neill, the trail runner, at first, and it's up to Glenn Allen Hill.
And based on his last at bat, I don't think Apier will throw him a strike, at least the first 2 pitches. Glenn Allen Hill must be patient in this situation.
Too far outside, ball 1. Soho waits to hit next. Hard hit up the middle, base hit. Glenn Allen Hill comes through for the Yankees. In to score Williams. And New York's on top 1-0 here in the 6th inning.
Won't you come into my web, said the Spider to the fly. A strike to Glenn Allen Hill and a run for the Yankees. Apier a little too good with that slider. The Yankees finally get a big hit.
And now 2 on, 2 out, and Soho at the plate. And a ball high from Apier. So a little life on that Yankee bench. And it's Glenn Allen Hill, player of the month for the month of August with his 10 home runs. Picked up by the Yankees, and he came in hitting bombs left and right. Tapered off in September, and here he is in game 2 with a big 2-out RBI base hit up the middle.
Glenn Allen Hill with 16 home runs as a Yankee, 12 in his first 68 at bats.
Soho hits one fair past first and into the corner. O'Neill will score easily. Glenn Allen Hill all the way from first to the plate. He scores, and it's 3-0 New York.
Soho painting the right field line, just inside the bag and eluding the diving Giambi.
Pyatt had a little trouble with it out in right, and any hope of getting Hill coming from first base was finished with that. Now with a runner at second, Soho. Back-to-back 2-out RBI hits by Hill and Soho. Here's Brochus. Side. What a play by Chavez. Took a hit away and ended the inning as Brochus grounds out 5-3. Saved a hit, saved a run, ended the inning. The Yankees get 3 in the 6th. Pettit has a 3-run lead. Bottom of the 6th in Oakland.
You know how they're going to pitch you? You know what they're going to do to you. Let's stay with that. Hey. That's a professional AB right there, buddy. Way to go.
Glenn Allen Hill knew what Kevin Apier was going to do to him. He didn't realize it was going to be such a fat pitch up in the zone. A rocket to center, followed by the Soho double. Puts the Yankees up by 3.
That's Lee Mazzilli. Hear that Brooklyn accent coming through. Abraham Lincoln High School. And one of the favorite Mets during his playing days. The first base coach for the New York Yankees, wearing a microphone and applauding the efforts of Hill, who then shortly after that little conversation was off and running. A ball hit down the right field line by Soho to score 2 and make it 3-0 Yankees. Andy Pettitte carries that lead back to the mound. He'll deal with Chavez, Hernandez, and Terrence Long for Oakland here in the 6th inning. That's going to get out of play off the bat of Chavez, and that makes it 0-2. We've talked about it a number of times, and it's been written about plenty, that Andy Pettitte, who had a poor first half of the year last year, was close to being ushered out of New York in a trade at the trading deadline during the 1999 season. The baseball people, quote unquote, overruled George Steinbrenner and others and convinced Steinbrenner and others that keeping Pettitte was the best plan. There's the drive to the right, the base hit. All the way to the wall, and Chavez has a leadoff double, and here come the A's.
A hanging breaking ball to Chavez, and not every hit is a mistake, but that was a mistake by Andy Pettitte. Just hangs on the inside part of the plate. You can see the rotation. Chavez waits for it. Hits it well down the right field line. The first extra base hit of the night for the A's.
The number 9 hitter Hernandez, who was so vital to their win last night in Game 1. He drove home 2 runs, was 2 out of 4. Struck out his first time, has Chavez at second with nobody out. To the left side for Jeter. 1-1. With the finish on Pettitte. Andy Pettitte, seemingly from that moment on when the trade deadline came and went, obviously at the end of July last season, has been the Yankees' most consistent pitcher out of their rotation. And he and Clement, since the All-Star break this season, have helped lead the Yankees, and they're a big reason why they're in the postseason with a record combined of 17-6. While the rest of the starters, Cone, Nagel, and El Duque, are combined 14-21. Runner at second, 1 out. Strike 1 on Long.
Joe Torre and the rest of the Yankees, including Mel Stottlemyre, who is ill. Reported Billy Connors, the pitching coach, the de facto pitching coach. But Joe Torre realizing, there's Billy, how important Andy Pettitte has been over the last 5 years to this ball club. One big game after another in postseason.
Long up the middle, stabbed by Pettitte, 2 out. Here's manager Joe Torre talking about Andy Pettitte, the seeming relief that he had once that trade deadline passed last year.
I think from the time right before the trade deadline last year to right now, Andy's a changed person. The spring, he went back to sort of 1995, where he had a speeded up type of delivery, which has helped him in his overall pitching.
Talked about it in, excuse me, Joe, we talked about it in our scouting report. He is working faster between hitters, and his motion is faster. Nothing deliberate about it. We talked about the big games. Headed to October Classics. Game 5, a 1-0 win over Atlanta in '96. Then in 1998, the World Series against San Diego, winning that game. And last year, the ALCS against Boston, a big win.
Velarde takes a ball from Pettitte as the A's try to take advantage of a leadoff double by Chavez. He's at second with 2 outs. Left-hander Mike Magnante is getting ready for Oakland out of their bullpen. A 1-1 to Velarde. Strike two. Have to believe at this point this will be a night that features a left-hander who throws one cutter up there after another, or at least features that pitch, to a right-hander who throws that cutter. Mariano Rivera should appear at some point here in game two.
And the Yankees are 4 outs away from Rivera.
Runner at second, 2 out. A 2-2 count on Velarde.
Unless, of course, the Athletics tie it or go ahead of the Yankees. Joe Torre telling us once again, Joe talked about it earlier. Joe Buck, that is. And Mariano Rivera will work 2 innings tonight if necessary.
The 2-2. You've got a full count, and you've got an MVP candidate waiting on deck, who, if he bats here in the 6th inning, will represent the tying run. To his left. Game 2 goes into the 7th inning. New York out in front 3-0. We'll return to Oakland after a break from your local Fox station. Well, it is the 7th inning, and it's a 3-0 Yankee lead. Joe Buck and Tim McCarver with you, and the Yankees are getting everything they needed tonight out of Andy Pettitte, and he has stalled for enough time to let this offense finally break through against Kevin Appier, who's back to work here in the 7th.
And as you said, Joe, provided Pettitte can get out of the 7th inning, I would expect to see Mariano Rivera in the 8th. But before we get ahead of ourselves, Mike Magnante continues to throw for the Athletics, and he could enter this inning with David Justice, the 3rd hitter.
Sounded like Jeter broke his bat. Maybe not. Strike one on that ground ball left side. So 0-1 on Jeter. During the season, just under 340. Ball and a strike. Got a left-handed heavy lineup on the Yankee side as well, so a guy like Magnante will be important not only tonight but throughout this series. You have the lefty Magnante for Oakland, and you have a right-hander in Messier who features a screwball, which is a great equalizer against left-handed batters. 1 ball, 1 strike from Appier to Jeter.
Derek Jeter, for the 3rd year in a row, over 200 hits. Almost 1,000 hits in 5 years in the big leagues.
Right at the third baseman, Chet. 1 away. Well, we're glad you're with us here on Fox. We're in Oakland, Network Associates Coliseum, and here in the 7th inning, the Yankees have a 3-0 lead. Last night, the A's behind Gil Heredia and a bullpen that was flawless. Tam, Messier, and Isringhausen shut down the Yankees and won Game 1, 5-3. Tonight, both starters matched pitch for pitch through the first 5 innings, but with 2 out, damage was done by the Yankees against Appier. Posada takes ball 1. A 1-out double last inning by Bernie Williams. after Martinez struck out looking. The Yankees decided to have O'Neill hit that number 6 spot. Isn't it funny how that comes back? The intentional pass was given by Apier in the A's to set up 2 on, 2 out for Hill, who delivered with a hit. As Posada shoots one into left center field, that ball is drilled and off the top of the wall. Jorge Posada into second with a 1-out double. Big hit last inning, then followed by Luis Sojo with a 2-out, 2-run double.
And I think that hit by Posada, a double, a booming double to left center, is going to run Kevin Apier. That's why Magnante is warming up. And here comes Art Howe. Contact. Talked about that front shoulder earlier. You can see Jorge Posada hitting that ball right on the button.
So Posada's double does spell the end of the night for Apier. Magnante into the game. Justice. Williams coming up. Yankees up by 3. Well, our first pitching change here in Game 2, and Kevin Apier gives way to Mike Magnante. The numbers for this season: an ERA over 4. 55 games out of the bullpen for Art Howe, and here he is dealing with Justice. And a strike.
Funny thing is, with David Justice, you can kind of throw the book away. He hits left-handed pitching as well as he does right-handers. His career numbers right there against left-handed pitching. One of the reasons for that is he keeps his shoulder in.
Magnante gives a look back at Posada. He's at second with 1 away.
In order to hit left-handed pitchers well, if you're a left-handed hitter, you have to be fearless and not worry about the tailing fastball around the hand. Doug Jones is up and throwing.
To the first baseman, Giambi backs up a bit. 2 out.
David Justice on why he hits left-handers so well.
I kind of go in spurts where I see them really well and sometimes not so well. But I think what helps me is I really don't care if I get hit. So since I really don't care about getting hit, I just stay in there longer. Because, you know, Willie Starr used to always tell me it only hurts for a short period of time. So I just always never really been afraid of getting hit, and I think that has always helped me.
Willie Stargell didn't wear that padding on his front elbow. Runner at third with 2 out, and Bernie Williams takes ball 1. When teams get the opportunity, they like to turn Bernie Williams around, make him bad right-handed. More productive left-handed, more powerful left-handed. Runner at third with 2 out as Magnante tries to keep it a 3-run game. 2-0.
Before the pitching change, we had a look at Clay Bellinger. Clay may enter the game in left field now. I think had Justice gotten on, Bellinger would have been the pinch runner. But I think he will be the defensive replacement in the bottom of the 7th inning for David.
Tejada to his left. Shows the good arm. Low by... Dug out by Giambi, who will lead it off in the bottom of the 7th inning. Giambi signs Tejada coming up. Hayes down by 3.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Toyota. More choices, better selection. Experience Toyota today.
Beautiful, crisp night here in the Bay Area. Giambi will lead it off. He hit 43 home runs during the regular season this year, joining the 40-homer club, tracking the history of these Oakland Athletics. Reggie Jackson was in that club. Mark McGuire. Ken Seiko, who was the game's first 40-40 player, and Giambi in the year 2000. The team and the fan favorite here with the A's. And he'll try to get it going for Oakland here in the 7th. Clay Bellinger enters the game. He's in left field for David Justice. Ball 1.
There's a big power-hitting first baseman in St. Louis, Missouri, watching this game tonight, and there is no doubt where his allegiance is right now.
Will Clark?
No. Give you a hint. You know him very well, and he has red hair, and he's big. Big as a California redwood. And he had 70 home runs 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you remember.
2 balls, no strikes on Giambi. Pettit wants to know where that missed. But Giambi is so like McGuire in that, and the quotes are the same. Hey, I'll take what they give me. If they want to walk me, let them walk me. The A's need base runners here in the 7th. They'll take on 3-0. They'll stay put 3-1. His second of this game, his third of this series. So with Mark McGuire watching from St. Louis, Missouri, roll the tape backward to the Bash brothers, he and Jose Canseco. Canseco, who now has 446 career home runs. McGuire is in the 500 homer club, and there's that forearm bash. Canseco watching from the Yankee dugout. Giambi on with a single to start the 7th, and here is Olmedo Signs. Rivera waits. Joe Torre's got to be fighting himself not to get Rivera up and loosening here in the 7th.
I was thinking the same thing. He has not pitched more than 2 innings this inning. How tempting is it, Joe?
And Pettit falls behind Signs 2-0. Well, middle relief has been a problem for the Yankees. And now action will start out in that bullpen. The short relief has been hit or miss. Nelson, Stanton, both have had rough stretches this season. Rivera has been touchable this year, but has still been nearly flawless. And both Nelson and Stanton will get loose here in the 7th inning. .84 pitches on the night for Pettit, and he gets a visit from Billy Connors.
Billy Connors taking over for Mel Stottlemyre. The Yankees 82 and 58 under Stottlemyre, and a lower earned run average, but that is in no way, we're not putting that graphic up to say that is a testament to the job Billy Connors has done. But anybody would miss a Mel Stottlemyre.
2 balls, no strikes. 2-1. Mel Stottlemyre going through the stem cell transplant procedure, battling cancer, and I know on the minds of all of these Yankees as they play this postseason without him. 2 balls and a strike on Signs. Three and one. Up right side for Tino Martinez. And the first out here in the bottom of the 7th.
This is the wrong ballpark to hit a foul pop-up. Balls stay in play in this park more than any other major league park. Plenty of room for Tino Martinez.
Now batting, shortstop, Miguel Tejada.
1 out. While every other stadium, especially baseball-only stadiums, have taken every inch possible to sell high-rent seats down on the field, that's not the case here, as the A's share this home with the Raiders. Tejada takes ball 1, and Pettit has been behind all 3 hitters here in the 7th inning. The 24-year-old Miguel Tejada. 1 on, 1 out. And it's 2-0. How about a comparison this season? Tejada, much lower average. Twice as many home runs as Jeter. More RBIs and fewer errors. Jeter has performed so well on that stage in New York, and Tejada just starting to figure it out at the big league level. Pettit got the outside corner. It's 2-1.
Earlier we talked about Tejada, the dire poverty in the Dominican Republic. About 10% of major league players are from the DR. 40% of the Hispanic players in the major leagues from the Dominican.
Up the middle, big hit. Giambi will stop at second, and the tying run will step to the plate.
Tejada with his first hit of the night, recently signing a $12 million contract over 4 years. Think of what that means to a person from a country where the per capita income is $1,800 a year. And he earns it.
And now Andy Pettit could very well be facing his last batter of the night. 2 on, 1 out. Ben Grieve at the plate. Tying run for Oakland at the plate. And Porter to the left side. Brocious fires to second. Double play. And the inning is over. Grieve bounces into the 5-4-3. Inning-ending, rally-killing double play. So the Yankees get 7 innings out of Pettit. And after 7, the Yankees are up by 3. Well, the Toyota game summary. We're in the 8th inning. Glenn Allen Hill with a 2-out RBI single in the 6th inning to break the scoreless tie in the 6th. That was followed by a 2-out, 2-run double by Luis Sojo, made it 3-0. And the Yankees are getting exactly what they wanted coming in out of Andy Pettit. 7 strong innings. In fact, 7 shutout innings. So you got Grieve on the inning-ending double play to end the 7th. No action, by the way, for the Yankees out in their bullpen, which is interesting. As Tino Martinez lines a base hit into right field off the left-hander Magnante. And let's go down to Josh Lewin. Josh?
All right, Joe, as you can imagine, kind of a dejected Oakland dugout once that double play was hit into. 32 double plays ground into by Ben Grieve during the regular season. They've been working with him to get the ball in the air in those situations. Hasn't helped in this series. He hit into 2 double plays yesterday, just into that one. Keep in mind with Jambi, pretty much always on base. He's got an on-base percentage of close to .470. A lot of opportunities for him to bang in a double plays. Not a real timely one right there.
All right, Josh, thank you. Well, Martinez is on here in the 8th inning, and Paul O'Neill at the plate. Double play ball to second. Maloney flips. Tejada in the middle. 2 out.
Tejada with one of the strongest throwing arms. And watch how he comes across the bag and throws right over Tino Martinez. Shortstops will do that to try to make the runner get down and get down in a hurry. Tino did, and so did Miguel.
Now Glenn Allen Hill. We got the scoring started back in the 6th inning with that 2-out RBI hit. Interesting that the Yankee bullpen is quiet, as I said earlier, only because Joe Torre said if he gets the opportunity, he would be willing and wanted to use Mariano Rivera for 2 innings tonight. But he likes the way Andy Pettitte has pitched to this point, and it looks like Pettitte will trot out there and at least start the bottom of the 8th inning.
A lot of times from a psychological standpoint, a manager will not get anybody warming up in the bullpen for fear that the pitcher on the mound might be peeking over his shoulder looking down there. But Rivera can warm up in a hurry. And if a base runner gets on with nobody out or 1 out, Rivera will be up quickly.
1-2 on Hill, and that missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jeff Tam, the right-hander, getting loose for Oakland out of their bullpen.
If the bullpens were behind the fence, it wouldn't matter so much. But since the bullpens are, for both teams, are very close to the mound, pitchers can hear that popping going on.
Magnante gets through the 8th. Bottom of the 8th inning. A's bat. They still trail by 3.
The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be. By Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Pepsi, the joy of cola. And by the Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
Well, tomorrow the race for the World Series on Fox continues as Mike Piazza and the Mets try to even their series against Barry Bonds and the Giants in Game 2 of their Division Series. Live from San Francisco, the baseball playoffs on Fox continue tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Leiter and Estes, a couple of lefties in Game 2. Andy Pettitte back to work, and Hyatt, first pitch swinging, fouls it away.
Leiter and Estes will be performing in front of Brenly and Brenneman.
Coming up after the game, late local news. Tom Brenneman and Bob Brenly will work that game tomorrow night. The ESPN game in the afternoon is Game 2 of the Division Series between the Cardinals and the Braves, with St. Louis up 1-0. And it's Glavine and Kyle in that matchup. Hyatt pops it up. Out is Soho. 1 away.
Talked about it earlier. The Athletics with an odd offensive attack. They played big ball in a big way. 3rd in the American League in runs scored. 2nd in home runs with 239. 2nd in walks, but they led the American League in strikeouts with 1,159. And they're not a running team, as their 40 stolen bases show. Last.
Now Chavez, who's had 2 good swings against Pettitte. 1 hit to show for it. A double back in the 6th inning. Takes ball 1. Prior to last season, word was out that the A's were getting rid of Art Howe as their manager. It filtered down to the players, and the players staged a march on the front office, led by Giambi and Matt Stairs. Chavez grounds to short for Jeter. Good play, 2 out. Here is manager Art Howe talking about that Oakland Athletic offense this season.
We haven't hit real good for average, but we take our walks. We're patient. We work counts. We wear pitchers down to where then when they do make a mistake, we do hit the long ball rather than just a single, and we get our runs. And when the 8th and 9th inning rolls around, we're right there.
The A's had finished last in 3 of the 4 previous years, and Howe was on his way out the door until Matt Stairs and Jason Giambi, on behalf of the rest of the players, went to the front office and said, no, this is the guy that we need to lead us. Last year, the A's had 87 wins. They finished the season 8 games out behind Texas. But you could see the foundation was there for some exciting years, and here they are in the year 2000. Winners of the AL West and in the postseason for the first time since 1992. Hernandez fouls another one away, and now he's in the hole 0-2. And when people talk about loyalty in this game, between players and organizations, between managers and coaches, player to player, there is loyalty here with this Athletics team on the part of Art Howe, especially those 2 guys who helped him keep his job, Matt Stairs, Jason Giambi. Stairs has had a rough season this year, had a decent September, and helped the A's get into the postseason. People were on Howe this season saying, how can you stay with Stairs? Easy to stay with Giambi. Guy had 43 home runs. But Art Howe gets that little twinkle in his eye, and he says, I know who took care of me, and he's willing to stay with that veteran presence in his lineup. Hernandez fouls it out of play right side.
Art telling us quite candidly before the game, hey, loyalty's a 2-way street. Was that a rare comment? Not only in baseball, but in any game or business.
Two out, nobody on for the A's, and an 0-2 count on Hernandez. Breaking ball had him frozen. Good pitch, but called ball 1. Yankees pitching in the division series since 1998. An ERA of under 1. Pettit fantastic tonight as he misses with ball 2. No runs on 4 hits for Oakland. Mariano Rivera still sitting and watching out of the Yankee bullpen. Pretty good rip. Still 2-2 on Hernandez. Chuck Knobloch bundled up on a cool night here in Oakland.
Joe Torre taking Knobloch out of the game tonight, putting in Glenn Allen Hill, and it was Hill who delivered with the big RBI to put the Yankees on the board. Then Luis Sojo followed. Joe saying that Knobloch was upset but understood. So far, the right move.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Ramon Hernandez, the number 9 hitter. That is fair. A rocket past third and into the corner. Hernandez chugging into second with a 2-out double.
And up jumps Mariano Rivera. As advertised. A great at-bat by Ramon Hernandez. He finally gets a curveball. That ball was hit awfully hard. No chance for Scott Brocious.
Now batting, center fielder, Garrett
Art Howe will tell you that Ramon Hernandez is his most improved player. The good at bat and the breaking ball hammered down the left field line.
Now, Joe, Tino Martinez, 106 pitches thrown by Andy Pettit. And Tino Martinez, being as sage as he is, goes out to talk to Pettit and at the same time allowing Rivera to warm up.
Andy Pettit this season averaged 107 pitches per start. So he's right there. Now Billy Connors. This is like the four corners. This is Dean Smith. First they send Tino Martinez in to talk to Andy Pettit. Now Billy Connors, who takes the better part of an evening to get out to the mound, is out there to talk to Pettit, all in an effort to get Rivera loose with Velarde, a right-handed batter, on deck.
Yeah, I think this will be the last hitter that Pettit will face, the left-handed hitting Terrence Long.
Why? Well, here is as close as there is to automatic in the postseason in anybody's bullpen. Mariano Rivera, the ERA 0.38, 13 saves, a 4-0 record, and only 30 hits allowed in just under 50 innings pitched. But save that for later. Right now it's Pettit against Terrence Long. A's down by 3 and taking the first pitch and maybe taking a strike is Long. One of the A's best. Regard to his average with runners in scoring position, Terrence Long. The rookie, a .288 hitter during the regular season. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Lee Mazzilli just moving Bernie Williams in toward left center field. Bernie was playing along the right center, and that was improper.
Jammed him. Soho falls down. And it's first and third with 2 out, and the tying run will come to the plate. In an embarrassing moment for Luis Soho.
I've never seen this, Joe, ever. Feet get tangled up, right foot on the left toe, and that's got to be all for Andy Pettit. If this were a big lead, you'd see some Yankees laughing about this, but not with the tying run. And Randy Velarde, and here comes Joe Torre. Man.
Well, where's Knobloch when you need him? Knobloch has had trouble throwing the ball to first base. Watching as is Pettit, as Soho can't keep his feet on a routine ground ball to second. And now the tying run will bat. Here in the 8th inning for the A's, Velarde will face Rivera. Well, Luis Soho will either have a moment that he can laugh about or something that the Yankees will dread seeing again. We go back to last night, game 1 of this series, and a missed double play opportunity by the Yankees. Soho was at the start of that play.
Or if not the missed double play, missing the tag of the runner going to second. I, however, after reviewing that play, after careful review, do not think that that was an egregious mistake on Soho's part.
First and third, 2 out, and Velarde the tying run at the plate. Mariano Rivera this season 36 saves, an ERA 2.85, and a record of 7-4. Velarde up now and Giambi on deck. One ball, one strike. Velarde trying to give Giambi a chance to be a hero. Or Velarde trying to do it to his former organization, a team that he played with from '87 until 1995. Broken back, ground ball to third. Nasty hop. Brocious, what a play. That hit the lip between the dirt and the grass, and Brocious, like Mike Richter, saved the play on this terrible hop.
Matt Stairs would appreciate this skate save and a beauty.
After 8, 3-0 Yankees.
Luis Sojo with that gaff at second base, inexplicably getting his feet all tangled up, falling down. Talk about saves for relievers. It was a save for Scott Brocious to end the inning on a terrific play. Great hands. As Joe said, it hit the cutout. Watch it skid after that. Little crooked hop. Barehanded. And he comes up with it to get his man. Big save there.
How often do you see it? The guy who gives you the Arthur Murray dance school routine out at second base leads off the next inning. Jeff Tam takes over for the A's. Here in the ninth, third pitcher, Magnante, an inning and 2/3. No runs, 1 hit. Did very good work. And now Sojo, as you said, and we talked about last half inning, now the Yankees, and Sojo in particular, can laugh about that play.
Sure.
Instead of it really costing New York, because if that ball got past Brocious and only great hands saved it and turned it into the inning-ending out, Jason Giambi bats with a chance to give the A's the lead.
Looks like Sojo was playing baseball's version of Twister at second base.
So the count 2-2 now on Sojo, who leads off here in the ninth inning with Brocious and Jeter to follow. We said it earlier. We'll say it again. The Yankees got exactly what they needed out of their starter. Andy Pettitte, slow roller to the right side. Giambi kicks it, and Sojo's on with what should be an error.
And Joe, I know it's fashionable now not to run hard out of the box, but on a slowly hit ball, if an infielder has to hurry it in any way, he might bobble it. Sojo running hard out of the box. Boy, if that is not indicative of what all major leaguers ought to do, and shamefully, all major leaguers don't do this. And the reason that he was safe was that he was running hard.
So Twinkle Toes gets...
Look at Zim. Don Zimmer loving that, and as we said, if that turned into a bad play and extended the inning, it certainly extended the inning. If that ball gets by Brocious, you're right with Giambi coming up. Nobody's laughing then.
So here is Brocious with Jose Vizcaíno pinch running at first base. Up there to bunt again. This time he gets it down, and Giambi has only one play of the tag. And Vizcaíno in at second with one away. Sacrifice good, 3 unassisted. And after the error, a runner at second, 1 out. Well, these Yankees, Bill Webb, our director, who's so good at showing those shots of the faces throughout the game, and those stern faces, and at times it looked worried and frustrated faces on the parts of the Yankees, well, they're all smiles now. That play by Sojo, getting out of the inning, the 3-run lead. Rivera in the game has certainly lightened the mood around the world champions dugout. There have not been a lot of smiles in that dugout over the last 3.5 weeks. I think Brocious' helmet's too tight. After that last play, that might be a halo down his forehead. I think it's too tight.
I think so.
Jeter with a chance to add to the Yankee 3-0 ninth inning lead. Vizcaíno at second with 1 out. The opposite way and stabbed by Velarde. Good play. 2 away. Lee Mazzilli, the first base coach for the Yankees, wearing a microphone for us. Here's what he said to Tino Martinez about that Soho play at second.
I didn't laugh at him. We all saw this. I didn't laugh at him.
We all.
I don't laugh.
Hey,
I did not laugh.
hey, everyone else did.
The outfielders. The outfielders.
There it is again. Sure to make every blooper film.
Oh, yeah.
Now Hernandez calls for the intentional walk as they will put Posada on. This might be a lineup that the A's will have to face in Game 3. Baseball managers are as superstitious and are as prone to sticking with what works as any other profession in the world. Here's Posada batting in the number 2 spot. He's walked, he's doubled, and now he's going to be handed an intentional pass. I would imagine he'll stay in that spot. When the Yankees take on Tim Hudson with El Duque, Orlando Hernandez on the mound, back in New York for Game 3, and it appears the series will be even at a game apiece. But the A's with 3 outs remaining. They'll be trailing by at least 3 in the bottom of this ninth, and they'll have Giambi, Saenz, and Tejada, the middle 3 in their order, coming up.
Post-game interviews, I've got the perfect line for Soho. Hey, the team was too tight. They needed a little levity.
And in the end, that's pretty much how it worked.
Yeah, that's right. Changing those grimaces to smiles.
With Bellinger, who took over defensively for Justice in the 7th, batting behind Posada. Easy decision. Tam and the A's would rather face Bellinger, who will look for a 2-out RBI hit as opposed to Posada. Vizcaíno, the pinch runner, over at third. He'll stay in the game and play second. Posada on at first, and with 2 out, here's Bellinger. A little blooper into right might fall. It is fair and in for a hit. 2-out RBI hit by Bellinger, and now they hold Posada at third. It's 4-0 Yankees, and Clay Bellinger delivers off the bench. In there for defensive reasons, and he comes up with a 2-out RBI hit here in the 9th inning to make it a 4-run game.
The fortunes of the Yankees could be turning. First, the play by Brocious, and now a little clunker down the right field line. Clay Bellinger coming through. Clay Bellinger returning to the area that signed him. He was signed by the San Francisco Giants scout Don Zimmer's son, Tommy Zimmer, back in 1989. The Yankees are loving that.
So another pitching change. Jones coming in from the bullpen for the A's. Yankees threatening for more. They lead it by 4. Well, unfortunately, at this point in his career, his age is tied to his name. The 43-year-old right-hander, Doug Jones, decent numbers during the season, is on in relief of Jeff Tam here in the 9th inning. Bernie Williams at the plate. Second and third, 2 out. With the Yankees up 4-0. And the 9th oldest player in postseason history misses with ball 1.
When Doug Jones started pitching professionally, Jimmy Carter was about halfway through his term at the White House. 1978.
2 balls, no strikes from Jones to Bernie Williams. So you've got the 43-year-old Jones on the mound. And the next 2 starters for the A's have a combined age. As the ground ball is hard hit but well played by Giambi at first. The combined age for Zito and Hudson is 47 years. They'll pitch games 3 and 4. Here in game 2, we go to the bottom of the 9th, 4-0 New York. Jose Vizcaíno does stay in the game, and he plays second base. The heart of the order for the A's will bat here in the 9th inning, down by 4. We came into this game talking about the differences between the Yankees and the Athletics, the average age between the two, the postseason experience, the 47 World Series rings to the A's, none, the payroll. It's a matchup that's often talked about in the halls of the commissioner's office, large market versus small market. The A's winners of last night's game 5-3. The Yankees turning to Andy Pettitte tonight in game 2. And Joe Torre got everything he needed out of Andy Pettitte. He got offense out of a retooled lineup with Glenn Allen Hill inserted as the DH as opposed to Chuck Knobloch, who was the DH here last night. And now he has the game in the hands of one of the best closers in the game today, Mariano Rivera, who will try to send this series back to New York, tied at 1 game apiece. Rivera will deal with Giambi and starts him with ball 1 high.
And it's funny how things work out. Don't forget that the guy that Joe Torre wanted to get started as much as anyone else in the lineup was Paul O'Neill. And he was walked intentionally in front of Glenn Allen Hill before the RBI single. And then the Soho double made it a 3-run lead. And now it's 4, and that's a lot with this guy on the mound.
An unearned run in the top of the 9th inning makes it 4-0. As Giambi waits for a 1-1 pitch. A little late, strike 2. Meanwhile, you look at the schedule of games for tomorrow. The Braves and the Cardinals, game 2 of that series, with the Cardinals up 1-0. It's Glavine against Kyle. 2 20-game winners. Glavine 21-9. Kyle 20-9. That's on ESPN at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. And then game 2 of the Mets and Giants, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on Fox. Giambi lays off in the count 2-2. Al Leiter will pitch for the Mets, and he'll take on Sean Estes. Giambi held his swing, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jumper to second. Vizcaíno with his feet far apart throws out Giambi, 1 away here in the bottom of the 9th. So now Art Howe will turn to Tim Hudson, a 20-game winner, the pitcher of the month in the American League for the month of September. He went 5-0. There's Sign standing in with 1 out, nobody on. And he will take on Orlando El Duque Hernandez, who has been a very good postseason performer for the Yankees. In fact, last year went into the postseason as the Yankees' #1 starter. That designation is now on Roger Clemens, who will work on short rest in game 4. And they plan on bringing Pettitte back if he's needed in game 5.
And remember, if there is a game 5, it will be back here in Oakland.
1 out, nobody on, a ball and a strike on signs. Olmedo tonight is 0 for 3. Bounced into a double play, struck out, fouled out. He breaks the bat. And Brocious guides it across the infield, 2 away.
Mariano Rivera could be the only pitcher ever to sign with a bat company. And the reason is he breaks so many bats, he does them favors. You can't have enough bats if you're facing a guy like Rivera. Throwing off signs right here. That's a sign of him throwing very, very well.
Here's Tejada with 2 out, nobody on. Rivera 1 out away from his 14th postseason save. Ball 1.
Joe, I have never seen a major league pitcher throw one pitch and break as many bats as Rivera does.
A 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kevin Apier, who made his postseason debut here tonight, will suffer the loss unless the A's bounce back. Down 4-0 in the 9th inning with 2 out, nobody on. Tejada run out of there with ball 2.
This was close.
2-1. Three balls and a strike. Ben Grieve would follow Tejada. Well hit into left field. Bellinger is over his head. Up against the wall, and Tejada has a 2-out double. Tino Martinez at first, and I don't know if we have it or not, ended up with a chop block on the first base umpire, Tim McClellan. Those two went head over heels, and McClellan did a barrel roll after rolling over Martinez.
And you can see Tino lifting that right knee as though it might be bothering him. The players have an expression, get the head out. They mean the bat head. And boy, did Tejada ever get the head out then. Man, you don't see too many balls hit any harder against Mariano Rivera than the ball Tejada just hit.
Now Ben Grieve with a runner at second, 2 out. Ball 1 from Rivera. Bat stares on deck. Up and out of the strike zone, a ball and a strike on Ben Grieve. Grieve, short hop by Martinez. Stays with it. And game 2 belongs to the world champion Yankees. They've evened this series at 1 game apiece, as the teams and those involved head back across the country and up to the Bronx.
In order to beat the Oakland Athletics, who were 23-7 going into this game tonight, since September 1st, the Yankees had to have a strong performance out of Andy Pettitte, and that's got to make Joe Torre smile, at least a little.
Tension meter was running high prior to this game on the part of the Yankees. Losers of 8 consecutive games, 7 to close out the regular season, and last night 5-3 here in game 1. So coming into tonight, the pitching matchup certainly favored the Yankees, with Andy Pettitte doing here in the postseason what he's done against the A's during the regular season. And Luis Sojo able to have a good time with that stumble he made out at second base back in the 8th inning. Went for an error, but then the next play was Brocious saving a ball on a tricky hop, ending the inning, and the Yankees win it 4-0. Let's send it down to Josh Lewin. Josh?
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Andy Pettit has just joined us. You made your very first Major League start right here, and you were telling me yesterday it wasn't exactly a big crowd around your locker after it happened. It's going to be a little different tonight.
Yeah, this is a big game for us, obviously. We've really been struggling, and it was nice just to be able to come out here, shut these guys down. They got a great lineup, and, you know, we battled. Everything that could have went wrong was still going wrong for us. It almost seemed like it, but it was the big win for us.
When Luis Sojo tripped and had the pratfall, what's going through your mind? I mean, so much has gone wrong in the last 3.5 weeks.
I didn't want to come out of the game right there. I was this can't happen. You know, we got a 3-run lead, and we're not going to let it happen tonight. And that's what I was telling Skip and the guys out there when he came out there and pulled me. And, you know, Mo came in, did a great job and shut him down. But it was a big win for us.
A relief, is that the best way to describe it?
I think so. You know, the guys, we've been down, and, you know, we've been on a terrible skid. But hopefully this will get us going.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
All right, Andy Pettit got the win. Back to you, Joe.
Josh, thank you, and thanks for your help tonight. 7th career postseason victory for the 28-year-old Andy Pettit. And boy, did he give the Yankees everything they needed here tonight. Joe Torre coming in telling us that his best setup man tonight was his starter, Andy Pettit, and he did the job. A 4-0 Yankee win. Today's game produced by Michael Weissman, directed by Bill Webb. The associate director, Aaron Stoikov, and our broadcast associate, Derek Manning. Steve Horn in the booth, the technical producer, Dave Hill. From all of us here in Oakland, as the Yankees get what they need, a victory to even this series at 1 game apiece, with the series going back to New York. That'll do it for all of us. For more on Major League Baseball, go to foxsports.com. For Tim McCarver and Josh Lewin, I'm Joe Buck. 4-0 Yankees, the final. Here's Keith Olbermann and Steve Lyons in the Fox Television Center. Guys, it's all